I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be looking at unhealthy relationships. You know, Margaret, one of the things that so many of us realize after coming to the channel is areas that their relationship wasn't healthy.
Right.
Areas that they weren't healthy themselves.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of times they beat themselves up.
All the time.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to make a big poster that says, "Don't beat yourself up."
Yep.
Yeah.
But, you know, as you learn some of this stuff from our channel based on attachment and mental health and anxiety and depression and trauma, all of those things are going to be correlated with the ability to have a healthy long-term relationship. Right. You know, there are some major things that you have to look for that a relationship, you know, if it gets to that point, you have to walk away.
That's right.
Anything where there's abuse.
Right. Any abuse of any kind, yes. Verbal included.
You want to talk about that?
Sure. I have an article which I may choose to share at some point, written by a woman who really, really thought that abuse was part of a relationship because that's what she grew up in.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, you know, is the relationship safe? Is there any kind of abuse? And that includes gaslighting, verbal abuse, put-downs, any of those things in either direction, from one partner to another. That's terribly unhealthy.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself if your partner is free to commit.
That's a big one.
It's huge, and people don't think about it.
Nope.
Because people will be all excited and attracted to each other, and they'll kind of jump into a relationship, and then after a few months, and when the hormones drop, it's, oh, how did I get here?
Yeah.
And what do I do now? And you have to ask, is the partner, you know, able to tolerate being close with someone, having a commitment to someone?
Yep.
Can that person spend time with you that you both enjoy?
How about addiction?
Addiction of any kind is oftentimes just totally unacceptable.
Yep.
That alcohol, drugs, porn, and gambling, all of those, unfortunately, really have to be deal breakers until the person gets help.
Yeah.
And you don't go to therapy or AA 3 times. If you're dealing with someone with an addiction, it's got to be 6 months at least, has always been the advice that I have given to people. You know, people will promise you anything and do it short term and then not follow through with it.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
And then you'll get the pressure of, how long is long enough? I've been sober for 3 weeks. I've changed. Can't you see? No, 6 months.
Yep.
Okay? Or I'm going to get into therapy as soon as we get back together. No, now or don't bother.
No.
You know, yeah. So those are things you have to look at. Huge in my book is the person's connection to their family of origin. Not that I don't think people should maintain relationships with their family of origin. We all love them and all want to have some kind of a relationship with them. But is it so intense that we can shift our major loyalty from the family we grew up in to our partner? And if you're going to make a commitment to somebody, whether or not you're married, a serious commitment, then you have to be ready to do that, and so do they.
Yep.
Okay?
So there's a lot of different factors.
Absolutely.
That, you know, a relationship absolutely cannot have if it's going to be healthy.
Right. And
when you are being mistreated in any way, you should not stay in that relationship. You have to love yourself enough to walk away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't think we've talked about loving yourself lately. But it's the in topic anyway. Yes, your first obligation is really to your own well-being and development. Then to your partner, then to your family.
Yep.
But you have to be your own first priority. We have an obligation to be as healthy as we can be.
So that was a really good general idea of some unhealthy relationships.
Right.
And I have an email coaching today that I wanted to go through that I thought would be helpful for you guys to see. This is from a gay couple, and one of the men was in their early 30s and the other one was in their late 40s, and they were together for about 6 months. Now, the one that did the email coaching explained that the other guy is actually married to a woman and has several kids, but they're separated at this point, okay? So he goes on to say that he married very young, meaning the other guy,
Yep.
very young, because he wanted to leave his parents' house as his father was too strict. Margaret, you suspected...
Well, my immediate reaction to that is I can tell you that I've heard that from women 100 times, but I've never heard it from a man before.
Yep.
That I married to get out of the house, and I wonder how young he was.
Yep.
But it doesn't sound good when anybody says that. I married to get out of the house. Something there was not okay.
You suspected maybe some verbal abuse.
I did.
And you've seen a lot of that?
I have seen a great deal of that. Yes.
That's terrible. So he says that they met in October, and at first he was afraid of having a relationship with a man, but gradually managed to build a strong bond. After 1.5 months, things changed. He became controlling and ultra jealous, mainly because of people hitting up to me from the past. So they were only dating for 1.5 months, and he had people coming on to him from his past. And this guy, even though they've only been together a short time, is very jealous of that. That's concerning.
It's concerning to any jealousy is concerning to me,
Yeah.
because ultimately it ends up to be extremely controlling, and this person is on trial all of the time to defend themselves when they haven't done anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite telling the truth and blocking each of them, he has never stopped accusing me for having lied to him to this day. All right, so this is big. They're just starting to date, and he's saying, despite the truth and blocking each of those people from my past,
Which he probably showed him he did.
yeah, he has never stopped accusing him of lying. And, you know, that's a big red flag on how insecure this other guy is. And also, to me, it's a control issue.
It will certainly become one.
Yep.
If I'm jealous of you, I want to know where you are 24/7. And if I call you and you take 5 minutes to call me back, I know you're hanging out with somebody you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's what life will be like. It's impossible to live with someone like that.
And also, if he is able to control the present by bringing up the past all the time, even though the past, he's making it up, he's distorting reality, he's going to be able to manipulate.
Absolutely. It's a control issue.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
He goes on to say, all these things made me question my feelings and pull back, even neglected him, and he became more jealous. Now, I would not say you were neglecting him if you were trying to protect yourself there, right?
Right. But I'm sure he called and said, why are you neglecting me? You must be talking to those other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took the decision not to end things as he was so kind, caring, and giving to me. Well, he had some good qualities, but
Yes, he did.
that came in between the
Yeah.
accusations
The
and calling him a
accusations,
liar and
calling him a
insinuating
liar.
he's
Right.
cheating, right? So, since then, the main point of argument was social media, our pictures, our likes, and friends over them. He started it, and he made me enter this cycle as well. Because he felt pulled into
What cycle?
the cycle of arguing over social media.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah. Despite all of that, we had great moments together and did things we had never done in our lives, because for both of us, it was our first true romantic relationship.
Wow.
He had 2 other relationships with men, but the base of them was mainly sex. In March of this year, he told me we should break up because we had some problems on my side in the sexual intercourse, and because being afraid that people will notice us. We live in a closed society. His English doesn't sound like a first language, so maybe in their culture it's frowned upon. I begged, And I managed to fix things concerning sex, but since then I felt that he was different. I became controlling and insecure as I was feeling something was wrong, and the social media arguments continued. Then quarantine came in our life. We live about 35 minutes apart, and with the ongoing arguments, we put the end in early April. I cried, begged, and pleaded at first. Then I started no contact, but he kept calling me every day to check on me.
What a mixed message.
Yeah, no kidding. Basically, he said that he loves me as a person, but he is not in love with me anymore because he can't forget the 5 cases of people who hit me up from the past and because of the ongoing arguments. That's interesting, right?
What do you think they were arguing about? You put in a picture of you with other people at a bar?
Well, I think the main argument was that 5 people from his past had reached out, and he was jealous of them. Yeah, exactly. And so he said, I blocked them all, but he still accused him, right? Yeah. And so this guy sounds very insecure. Okay. He also doesn't want a relationship because he can't give as much as I want. That sounds like an avoidant right there.
Yeah, sure does.
And because it altered his character as he couldn't manage his emotions. So he's saying, I can't manage my emotions, so I can't be with you.
Okay. I'm going to fall in love with you, and then what do I do with my wife and children?
Well, they're supposedly technically separated.
We didn't get the details of that separation.
Yeah. He doesn't want to give a second chance because he knows that we can get close to each other again, and he is mainly afraid of himself. But at the same time, he wants me in his life. What is the best strategy to make things up?
Wow.
Well, first of all, I would make sure that he and his wife are separated on their way to divorce, and that is really the case.
Now, he may mean he's living in the house, but they're emotionally separated. I've heard that one, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He says, but practically they are separated. That's the only thing he said, was that practically they are separated. Right. So maybe they are, but that's the first thing that I would look at. Now, the other thing is that he may have not come to terms with his sexuality.
That's what I was thinking, too, that he really may not have come to terms with his sexuality. And, who knows? We don't know what religion we're talking about here, if it would be totally frowned upon in his circle, if it would kill his beloved father, we just don't know. But I would also guess he's living a double life, essentially, as a gay man and as a married man with 2 kids. I can't imagine he has shared this with his ex-wife, but you never know.
Yeah, doesn't seem likely.
It would be healthy if he had.
Yeah.
But
I think at this point he needs to say, look, contact me if you want to work it out. But, allowing him to keep reaching out day after day after day.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's...
And that is also the mark of an avoidant. They won't stay in the committed relationship with you because that scares them. And it would mean, that they're supposed to take care of you. But they can handle talking to you every day as long as they don't have to say they're in a relationship.
Yeah. So I think if I'm in this situation, I'd make sure that he was available to be in a committed relationship, that there's not more going on with the wife and the kids than we realize, because he could be lying, right?
Yes, he could.
And you need to take things very slow and be careful with this guy because he's extremely jealous and he uses your past against you. He makes things up and he distorts reality. So it's not healthy.
No,
right?
It's not at all. And one of the questions I ask people to ask themselves is, what's in this for me? Now, he answers it to some extent because, they had great times together, and that's great, and I hope they enjoyed them. But you can't put up with this stuff because of that.
Yeah. You have to be really careful with this guy and in this situation because there are a lot of red flags. We don't know how he feels about his sexuality.
Right.
If he's willing to be open and say, he wants to date a guy. We don't know what the culture's like. We don't know what his family's like. We don't know if he'd be open to telling his wife and his kids.
Yeah.
There's so many issues that you got to be careful. And Beyond that, I don't like the way this guy was acting in the relationship.
I don't either.
So it's not just, is he just coming to terms with his sexuality? That's part of it. It sounds like he hasn't.
No.
We don't know what he would be willing to do. It seems like maybe the best you would get from this situation is hanging out with him in secret.
Right, exactly. And secrets are never, ever healthy.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a plan for a separation, but if he thinks he's got to stay with them till the kids are 18, then you got all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, and we don't even know what the age of the kids are. They didn't say.
I wondered.
All right. So don't be so eager to repair it with this guy. I know you felt a real strong connection with him, but that doesn't mean that this is going to lead to any kind of healthy relationship, right?
I agree.
Okay. If you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret, of course, is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful to you, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.